Okay, what about those who say the Rosary is vain repetition, and that was condemned by Jesus himself, so we ought not to be praying the Rosary?
So the problem with this is that the Greek term is not properly translated vain repetitions. That's how it was translated in the King James Version, but it is not really what Jesus says. The term is batologesete, and in Greek, it means something like stammering. So Jesus is saying, when you pray, don't be like the pagans who go stammering on because they think they'll be heard because of their long prayers. Well, okay, so don't do that. That doesn't say anything about repetitions. And in fact, we know that repetitions can be perfectly pleasing to God. Take a look at the inspired, another divinely inspired thing here, Psalm 136. If I'm remembering the number correctly, where it has a refrain. It's an antiphonal psalm, meaning that it has an antiphon, a recurring phrase that keeps coming in. And the phrase in that case is, his mercy endures forever. Or in other translations, his loving kindness endures forever, or things like that. And so in this psalm, you will have a series of things that God is being praised for. And sometimes the psalmist does not even get out a complete sentence before the refrain repeats. And this is divinely inspired prayer here. So obviously God doesn't have a problem with repetition. It's not the fact you're repeating something that's the problem. And in fact, in Matthew 6, where Jesus talks about this, he singles out the problem as pagans thinking that they need to make long prayers in order to be heard by the gods. You don't. The true God knows what you need before you even ask, so you don't need to make a long prayer. Don't think you are obliged to do that. And that doesn't mean you can't pray for a long time if your heart is, burdened and you really want to pour it out to God, and you can, pray for as long as you want. Just don't think that he's like one of these pagan gods where you got to grind him down with the length of your prayer, like he doesn't really care about you. And so you need to explain yourself at length to him to get him to understand and buy into your need. The true God already knows your needs and already cares about you. So don't think you need to do that.
But isn't there a problem in the Rosary in that we're encouraged not to think about the words that we're saying as we say them? By the very fact that the church tells us to meditate on something else.
I think that if you're told not to think about the words and that's a goal, it's a stupid goal. I think you should think about the words as you also meditate on a particular mystery. I think you should do both.
How do you do that, though? I don't know how to do that.
One way that I do it is, so I'm saying this Hail Mary, and I'm meditating on a particular mystery, like, let's say, the crucifixion, if I'm doing the sorrowful mysteries. I imagine I'm talking to Mary as she's standing at the foot of the cross, thinking about what she is witnessing in this moment.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And I work my way through the mysteries in that light. I imagine, even though she may not historically have been at every single one, like in some of the ones in the Luminous Mysteries, but she was at most of them, and I imagine Mary being at these scenes, and I imagine saying the Hail Mary to her as she experiences what the mystery is.
That's really great. Thanks. I mean, I'm sure that's been said a million times, but I think that's the first time it really sunk in, so thank you for sharing that with me. If you like that clip, be sure to like and subscribe. Cheers.